Hello, everyone. My name is Justin Hodson. I'm an associate professor in the Department of English at IU Bloomington, where I'm colleagues along with Scott and Miranda. And I want to just start by apologizing for my absence today. Earlier this week, I came down with a bit of a cold and lingering kind of bronchitis situation. And so I figured you all would rather me not be there coughing all over you. And so I'm going to try and get through this without too much disruption. Luckily, my voice came back, so I'm able to talk today, and that's feeling a lot better in how this whole thing works. But my job is to give you some real sort of hands-on, sort of practical implementations of what we've been talking about with the W171 course. And so I want to showcase what my team did last fall 2022, and our approach and our design and how we've tried to bring together not only this new kind of instructional model for grad student development, but specifically the pairing of active learning and digital literacy as a basis for a first-year writing course. And I'm going to give you a bit of an overview and talk about the process, and then ideally spend at least half my time showcasing student works and projects. So let me get started here with a little bit about our course. In the fall 2022, the goal was to reimagine the learning experience for a first-year writing program or first-year writing course, and to try and create something altogether new at IU Bloomington, a course that would bring together active learning and digital literacy in strategic ways, but also offer students a kind of unique experience. And so what we did is to focus on the roles and the connections between digital writing and how we can use sort of critical and creative engagement across platforms and practices and purposes to facilitate not only the writing skills that we typically think about that occur in a first-year class, but the rhetorical strategies associated with them. My goal is to get students to focus on the role of crafting meaningful experiences. And it really became the baseline of this class, asking students to think through how different modalities of media establish new affordances or constraints for what it means to write, or and open up writing practices and academic writing practices to these other kinds of modalities for other kinds of audiences and experiences. And really to get students to think about how we transform the ways in which we communicate when we start to integrate images and text and sound and spatial design and data and things like that. And so that's sort of the root of the class. How do we combine these things to offer a new kind of experience? But as I mentioned before, this class at its core was designed to bring together active learning, which is a core practice and value at Indiana University, with digital pedagogy and digital literacy. And it's trying to do that all through this kind of weird mentor-apprentice model with the instructors. And it created this really unique and rich opportunity. And so what I did was we partnered with UITS Learning Technologies, because I knew from a previous class I had taught on digital monumentality, I knew that I wanted students to work in Minecraft EDU in this class. I wanted them to recreate buildings on campus in Minecraft, working in teams to do these kind of things, to ground the experience in their relationship with campus, their first semester freshmen. So I wanted to draw on something they were all experiencing in that moment. And so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna figure out a way to bring Minecraft into the classroom. And while it's easy to do with one class of 25 students, it's nearly impossible to do with 96 students, because Minecraft EDU only allows up to 40 people on a server at one time, on an instance at one time. And so we had to come up with some really unique creative workarounds with UITS to even make this possible, so students could log in 3 different teams onto 3 different machines, play in a shared world, and engage in those kind of things. But also, our class was built around a core partnership with IU Archives. I'm having students do research writing and thinking about what research means across, a variety of materials and assets. And I'm having them create buildings for Minecraft. And so I thought, what would be great is if they did their research on buildings on campus. And so we had this interesting sort of triangle of investments between the IU Archives, pulling up research-based materials, artifacts, and things that students couldn't get through Google, right? To really ground their engagement. And that's sort of the forms the basis. The class was split into 5 units. And so we began with the digital writing unit. Students started with a personal essay on their own experiences on campus, something that was significant to them, a memory, a moment, a place. But they had to do and create those essays using Adobe Express webpage. It's this kind of scrolling interface that allows you to combine text and image and video. And so we really got them to think about how these modes play with each other. And the tool is really easy to use. And so it allowed students to be able to break away from the instructional and sort of predetermined qualities of Microsoft Word and Google Docs, for example, and think more strategically about design and placement of imagery and the value of visuals along with text, and the role of text in the conversation, and how we could bring in these kind of these additional elements. Unit 2 was a more research-based unit, which I've mentioned. It's students worked in the IU Archives using archival material to write a research-based essay on a particular building or structure or figure from campus, but they didn't just write them as textual documents. They had to design them as if they were magazine articles. And so we worked with Adobe InDesign using templates and conversations about genre and style, to where students were then recreating or creating their essays, these research-based essays, in this other kind of modality, thinking about a more popular audience. Now, as we go throughout the semester, right, the entire principle behind these parts is that at the end of the class, when they're building these Minecraft worlds and they're building buildings in Minecraft EDU, they're going to have characters in Minecraft EDU that people can talk to. And the character will let you click a button that links out to external resources. So as they're doing these magazine articles on Showalter Fountain or the IMU or the Sample Gates, these kind of iconic things at Indiana University, you know, when they, at the end of the semester, when students are walking through the space they've created, you can talk to, you know, NPC Ed and click him, and then click the button next to Ed, and it'll say, you know, learn more about Showalter Fountain. You click the button and it pops open on the web this digital magazine article written by student X. That's sort of this design content. And so as the semester goes, each part that we did was designed with the intention of it being integrated into their final project, with the Minecraft EDU, the navigational space, being the vehicle by which these other multimedia documents allow them to communicate, to tell their stories, to create engagements and the like. So we went from digital writing to digital exposition in a research-based project. Unit 3 was on digital storytelling, where students worked in either podcast media, audio media, or video to create a digital story of some kind. And you know, based on research, based on content, based on additional work on their topics and their focuses. They could work in teams or work individually, but ultimately it was about learning to do storytelling practices across modalities. And then they moved into sort of the final stages of the project, which included both a return to Unit 2 and this kind of final course project of building Minecraft. And the return was they had to try to bring together multiple different kind of articles to build an actual magazine based on the things their peers had written. So they were borrowing content from one another, borrowing materials from one another, leveraging those articles, and then as groups redesign them into uniform magazines, while also working on the final Minecraft build. So this is the sort of arc of the class. They're building stuff, they're integrating stuff, but all semester long, Unit 1 for us, this kind of underlying unit, the grounding unit, was these sort of built-in critical reflections and learning engagements and in-class activities, right? So they had to work on things all the time and reflect on what they were learning. And so one of the key models that is exciting here for me is not only what did they make, but all semester long, we had in-class activities that were built to get students to work together to learn the tools, learn technology, learn strategies, and approaches that were all active oriented. So in these little pods of 8 students, right, you have like 6 to 8 students around a table, one main machine, but all students had their own laptops, right? They would work on sort of challenges. And so, you know, early on the semester, I'd have them do what we call a think, pair, make, share activity. So I would ask them to partner up and talk about a critical idea from the reading or about the class. They would share their thinking after they'd written down some things. They would identify key takeaways, and then together or individually, they would create a visualization that represented their thought. Then they would share those visuals with us as a class, and we would use the visual media that they created to guide class conversations or facilitate engagements. And so we would do a lot of those think, pair, make, share kind of things. We'd have challenge days where students would have to, you know, sort of extend or finish a paragraph. We'd have to make a quick video. We did one day near Halloween, they did to learn how to make videos after we had an introduction to video workshop. And then the rest of that day was they had to make a horror video, horror short in Minecraft. And so we had some really good examples of this. And in this process, students were not only learning how to, again, create video, how to record things from their Minecraft screens, do screen capture media, but also thinking about genre and approach and style and audio and how these things sort of factor in. And these are just 2 of the many examples that we could point to about student engagements, student active learning models, and how the whole class was built on every day we had some form, if not multiple forms, of an active engagement upon which the dynamic element of the course revolved. Ultimately, though, I think most people are interested in the final projects and what students created. And so I'm going to close with a couple of key examples here that highlight you know, a couple different groups and what they built. I'm gonna let them play through. And then obviously I wish I was there to answer questions and talk more about the design, the visualization, and the vision that we went after and how the partnerships got facilitated. But I know Sarah is in the audience, and I think AC is as well. who are the graduate student instructors that were part of this collaboration, and they're more than capable of answering questions as they were on the ground dealing with the students. As each day we had Team Sarah, Team AC, Team Ben in the class as we broke up the students. So I'm going to show a couple examples, and then I'll leave it open for questions.
Here we stand at the entrance of the Indiana Auditorium, a building so enchanting it brings music and stories to life. When approaching the doors of the auditorium, you will be greeted by our staff member, Lin-Manuel Miranda. He will give you a few short facts on the architecture of the IU Auditorium. There is also an opportunity to click the link provided to learn more about the architecture of this building. If you look to the left, there is a staircase that leads to the upstairs areas where you can find your seats if you're located on the upper levels. As you head back down the stairs to the main entrance, you can easily obtain your tickets at the Wolf booths and spend time taking photos in the photo booth. Past the main entrance is the auditorium's lounge area, where people may hang out before or after a performance. Another usher is in the lounge, ready to direct you to your seats and answer any questions you may have. As you continue past the lounge and through the grand hall, you enter the theater at the bottom of the staircase. As you look around, beautiful artwork lines the walls, and an usher is on the floor, ready to escort you to your designated seats and provide you with information about the play you're going to see. In addition, you may also learn more information about previous musical legends that have performed here at the IU Auditorium.
Hello, I'm Evan, your tour guide, and I'm going to show you our group's build of Assembly Hall, the greatest stadium in all of the world. Okay, so first, you're going to see the iconic glass entrance at the front of the building. And right as you walk in, you're going to see the lobby, which is obviously not this empty. On its game day, it's filled with cream and crimson. On any game day, this is your way up to any of your seats. So as we walk in, you're going to see the iconic court and just Assembly Hall in general. So the next thing we're going to look into is right here. So this is a video that's going to tell us a bit about the former coaches. It's going to tell us a teeny bit about Bob Knight. One coach, although good at his job, stirred up some controversy that made administrators and some fans unsure of their support.
Welcome to Woodburn Hall in Minecraft EDU. When you walk through the front door, you're teleported to a secondary hub. You are welcomed by multiple chalkboards, informing you of what you will be learning. The hallway houses our teleportation rooms, home to our interactive learning experiences. At the beginning of our tour, we'll talk to Thomas Hart Benton, the painter behind the mural in question, and inform us and give us context to what we'll be diving into for the remainder of the tour. Next, you're guided to a newsie who hands you a magazine to dive further into the information discussed here. And now we make our way into our interactive learning experiences. First, we go to our tree planting room. There, you'll talk to Richard Leiber, the head of the Department of Conservation, and he'll tell you why he's on the painting. Then, you read about the conservation of the parks and some fun facts. Finally, you'll walk on the pressure plate located in the last tree, which will take you back to the hub. At the very end of our experience, we'll walk to a last classroom, where we'll meet many students representing the takeaways that many students cultivated during this experience. Our design team worked hard to make sure that students not only learned, but also had an enjoyable playing experience and had a sense of freedom. We wanted learning to feel like a natural experience and not like a chore. And that concludes our tour of Woodburn Hall in Minecraft EDU.